So one thing I want to emphasize again in this pipeline is what computational photography really is about, the whole pipeline, how we take rays of light from a real 3D scene and convert them into pixels to do a variety of things with. Of course, these pixels are the ones that we use for display. So just to think about it, a scene, again, has light coming out of it. These are the rays of light that we want to capture. Of course, this scene could be illuminated by a variety of light sources. Here I've just put a bunch of different light sources. Of course, in a natural scene, it's the one grandiose sun that illuminates our entire scene. But now let's think about it, that I could actually take this thing and put an aperture. We'll get into definitions of an aperture later. And optics, basically how much light is getting into the optics and could be controlled. And that now could be used to basically illuminate this thing in a controlled manner. So that basically leads to rays of light hitting the scene, but through a process of generalized optics to create a novel illumination source. So in essence, this is a natural scene, of course, lit by the sun. But imagine if this was not a natural scene, but a scene that I could control the lighting for. So I could create a whole computational artifact like this, which controls the light, the amount of light that passes through, the optics that control this light, and how it's focused on the scene to generate newer rays of light here. Of course, when these rays of light illuminate, they come out again, and that's the one we want to capture. To this, we can actually create a novel camera, which basically again has some concept of generalized optics and aperture here. But now the reverse is going on. See, light was coming in here. Now light is going in through here, through the aperture into the sensor, where we can process it. So this is a novel camera. And novel cameras like this can then be used to generate newer forms of images. And again, in some instances, there would still be pixels to create a display, a newer form of display that we can actually use that to view the scene. Now, of course, pixels here is still perhaps not the right term here because it's assuming it's a 2D image and output. This could be a variety of things. So we can basically say the output of this may not be a pixel. It could be a variety of different things coming in from this camera. It could be holographic imaging or something like that. So, but the bottom line, if you see through this, is now rays of light are the primary ways, and using this computational framework and this computational framework, still using the standard scene, we can now go through this whole pipeline of novel illumination, novel camera, to novel forms of imagery. So we basically are creating three different types of novel ideas here. Novel illumination, novel cameras, using that to create novel forms of imagery.